Welcome team. Today I have Jasmin Strange, NRLW Premiership winning player, Maori Allstars player. Thank you so much for coming on. There's so much we have to talk about, but I'm going to go straight to that Allstars game because I checked your TikTok.
Yeah.
Very popular, I've noticed, on TikTok. The TikTok was of you after the Allstars game, playing in Rotorua for the Maori Allstars, and you walk around the stadium, you see some kids and high-five kids, and you walk straight past your grandmother.
Yeah. So
Can you tell this story?
Yeah. So
Poor old grandma standing there waiting like this, and you walk straight past. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, so that was actually her first time. She's actually from Rotorua, where the game was held, and she hasn't been back there since she was 18 when her whole family left and came over to Sydney. So that was her first time she came there. She was so excited. I remember, like, she just came there obviously to watch me, and that's like a bit of a homecoming for her, and it was just like a full circle moment. But I remember telling her, like, I made the All-Stars, and she was just beside herself, so excited. Made the trip out. I did a interview a few days before saying, like, yeah, I just can't wait to go give my grandma a hug in the crowd after the game because she'll be so proud of me. And then, yeah, I'm walking around. We've just done a lap, like, seeing all the community, all the kids and everything like that. And then I'm still walking around. Dad goes to me, "Oh, Jazz, over there." So I thought I'd, like, miss some kids. So I just went over and said hi to the kids and then said, "Oh, da da da," walked past. And then he goes, "Oh, I heard someone yelling at me from the thing," but a lot of people were, like, yelling. Yeah. And then Dad goes, "Oh," and then I turned around and I was like, oh my God. But if you see the video, what she was wearing, it actually blended into the colour of the stairs. So, like, that was, like, I think that's why it went viral. It has, like, 9 million views now because I think people, like, didn't see her first as well in the video, and then they've obviously rewatched it, and she's there going, "Jazz, Jazz," and she's cranky, so that was a bit scary.
Wow, so that must... Yeah, so that's where your selection in the Maori Allstars comes from, Grandma.
Yeah, yeah.
She's never been back there till she was since 18 years
Yeah,
old.
because they come over, as
well,
a
that must
family.
be special. What did that mean to you? Did you know much about that culture? Because
Yeah,
those weeks
she's always been pretty strong in instilling that in us. So,
That's
like,
great.
I did, definitely have a lot of backstory of that. But going over there, Lenny, our cultural advisor, was amazing. He took us to everywhere from our pepeha. Me and my dad one day got up at, like, a ridiculous time. So I think, like, going over there for that experience was just amazing, and we just learned so much more. So yeah, it was really special.
Well, and you know, so you mentioned your dad there. People might not know this yet, but your dad coached that team.
Oh, he was the helper. He wasn't the coach.
He wasn't
Keith
the coach?
Hanley's the coach.
Oh, okay. So your dad is an NRLW coach that I've had on the show.
Yeah.
So much good feedback on that episode. What was that like, experiencing that week then with your dad? So he was the assistant coach.
Yeah,
what was happening?
What
was that like?
Yeah, it was very, very special. I think it was really, really special to him as well, because obviously he's grown up with that as well, and knowing his heritage from his mum, my grandma. So I think that was, like, amazing for him. I've never seen him so, like, excited and genuinely happy when we were over there. Yeah, he was just learning so much and taking it all in, and I know he was really, really proud of me throughout that experience as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So on the TikTok, there was a second video.
Yeah.
Where you show where you went back and you saw
well,
Grandma.
I was getting roasted in the comments. They were like, "Your grandma's come all the way over," because people obviously just take things super seriously on the internet.
Yeah.
So, like, there was a few comments. Like, obviously most of them were funny, but there was a few comments saying that. So I just posted that one.
You
to make
posted
sure
the
everyone
next
knew.
one.
And
You
I
went back to
definitely
Grandma.
Did see her, and we had
What
an
did she
emotional
say to you
moment.
at the end?
Oh, I don't know. Probably just. She gives me advice. I don't think she knows anything about footy, but she knows how to give me advice about footy. So but I got in a little bit of trouble first, but then
that's cool.
It was all good, yeah.
Well, that's really cool. You got to experience that. Are you playing for them again?
Yeah.
This
So we
coming
play
year?
on the 16th of Feb in, like, a few weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Dad as coach. We might
Yeah.
as well go there. You are now with the Sydney Roosters.
Yeah.
And your dad is the head coach.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, I'll let you know when it starts.
Oh, okay.
No, but last time, because obviously I played for the Knights last year and I played for the Roosters the year before.
Year.
Yeah, so, like, from that experience, it was really good. I've been coached by my dad since I first started playing footy, so obviously I know he's very, very hard on me, but I feel like that's what I respond to, because I'm not really too fussed about people saying, like, coaches being stern with me. Like, I feel like it helps me, so yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'll probably stay here for a bit because there are a lot of listeners out there that are coaching and teaching, whatever, and a lot of them coach their own kids. But what I found interesting looking through your career is you debuted Sydney Roosters.
Yeah.
Your dad was the coach.
Yeah.
But you left.
Yeah.
And you went to the Knights and you
Yeah.
won the Premiership with the
Yeah.
Knights. I'm sure we've got some cool stories to talk
Yeah.
about there. But why did you leave?
Well, there was obviously a lot of reasons. Like, I probably felt like I was up to playing, even though I was coming back my first year from ACL the year before, I kind of felt like I was up to playing that season anyways. And then I made my debut, won Rookie of the Week or Rookie of the Round or something like that, and then like didn't get picked again. So I was like a bit disappointed in that. So I think there was also a lot of things playing on Dad's mind with like pressure with selecting me or not selecting me. So I just wanted to kind of take myself away and go and make sure that I played every game, which I did, and we obviously ended up winning the Premiership, which is awesome as well. But yeah.
I should have gone there with your dad because you just mentioned the word pressure. So he named you to the debut. You play really well, but then he almost can't pick you again the next week.
Yeah, it was a bit
So
disappointing.
he's feeling pressure and you're feeling pressure.
Yeah, I had a lot of like words. I think it didn't help as well. Like the girls as well were kind of saying like, yeah, like we feel like you should have not got like dropped or like whatever. So yeah, that was like a bit hard, but I understood. Like there was a lot of girls at like similar levels, and I'd just come back from my ACL, so I wasn't expecting to play it by any means, but I definitely felt like I could have been playing. So yeah, like I went obviously away and played every game, and then I think I'll be coming back like a better player with that experience behind me as well.
For sure. I mean, it can't be easy because you know you're working hard like all the other girls, but there's, whether you like it or not, there's this perception out there and this feeling, oh, what are they saying because it's Dad coaching or whatever. Did you get any of that? And then you made a big decision to just cut ties and you left.
Yeah.
That's a huge backing of yourself. Like you just thought, I'm going to back myself. Yeah. Was there any outside noise? Like I know you're all into this, you're huge on the social media bit. I advise people not to read the comments, but were you reading into some stuff?
I don't, because I just think like whatever of people that comment those things, like I'm really weird. Like I'll be affected really, really badly by some things, but not by others. So like with the social media and comments, like I just think people that like troll and say dumb things are just like dumb. Like I don't really feed into that at all. But it was mostly just me. Like I could understand because I've obviously seen people and I've gone, oh, like, are they there because of, like, why are they there and things like that. So I can understand from an outside perspective, like, people might think that. So I thought, like, it was just really important for me as well, just to show that I am playing NRLW because I should be.
Well, it's an interesting topic. We went there with Ivan Cleary on this show, who said he went through it with his own son. Yeah. His family went through it. Like, you know, can you believe it? Even not so long ago. Yeah. You know, he's the greatest player in the game, and but it became a bit easier for Ivan when he's not going to not pick Nathan. Yeah. You know. Yeah. But then there's other coaches in the NRL, like there's Brad Arthur and Jake Arthur. There was some pressure there. Fans were pretty harsh. Yeah. You know, Shane Flanagan with his son, like it's.
I think I'm pretty lucky with mine though. Like I have like a little. I'm not gonna say I have a fan base, but like I have like a lot of people who are supportive in my corner, especially since like the Knights fans are absolutely amazing, and like I've probably received like 1,000 messages since it got released that I'm leaving, and probably 2 of them are like negative. Like the rest of them are just like congratulations, like we'll miss you, we wish you were staying, but like da-da-da. So I don't. Yeah, it's alright.
So there's no one comment that hit you hard and said, I'm leaving, I'm just going to go on
I think it's
own.
funny. Like like my friends and I will read, because there's some also really weird DMs as well, so that's like not helpful, but like we literally read them and I think it's so funny. And like no one says anything to me in real life. Like if someone come up to me in person and said something like, oh, da-da-da, I'd be like, well, are you playing NRL or NRLW? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really take that. I take things from people that I respect and people that I should take things from, but not from some random person sitting on their couch having a silly opinion.
Well, that's good, because I honestly, I do worry about young players today that haven't reached your level yet. Yeah. I do worry what social media is doing to a lot of their kids. Yeah. Because they, you know, if they read one comment the night before a game and lose sleep over it. Yeah. Or midweek and lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
Or the morning of, or at school.
I think that's
you know?
definitely a massive issue, especially towards girls and all of that. But I think my
Yeah.
parents have done a really, really good job of like keeping me grounded and just saying like these people like, because I read, like you read Facebook and all of that stuff and people are just arguing with each other over dumb things.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it's just silly and like I'll literally read it and laugh. Like I don't, but I can completely understand where people would be affected and if it's like hurtful and that personal, not towards football.
Yeah.
Like I would be, probably affected too, but.
Yeah, okay. I like this topic where you left your dad. Like, that's crazy. You left and went to the Knights.
But also, I
had
do
to play
love
against
the Knights.
him.
It's not like I went to I didn't go
love
to
the
a
Knights.
random team or anything like that just to try and get a run. Like I played Tasha Gale at the Knights. They gave me my first start in rugby league. It was under 18s because it was before COVID, and it was a 9s comp and then an 11s comp because I played from when I was 15 to 17 in that.
Yeah.
And I loved my experience there, and that was awesome. So it was really cool for me to go like back to the Knights as well. So yeah, it's not just like a spur of the moment. I'm done with Dad. I'm leaving. Like it was just
Okay, so the Knights meant something to you.
Yeah.
And Ronald Griffiths was the coach, and you won the competition.
Yeah.
He won it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, I was just so happy for him. I was really disappointed that he didn't win Coach of the Year in the Daily M's for the NRLW. I feel like he definitely should have got a run in there, but that's all right. But like he's just an amazing bloke, and I was just so genuinely happy for him, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the times, like, oh, you're so happy you won, you're so happy like for this and that, but he's just such a great guy who cares so much. Like I was just so happy that we won for him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And what about the teammates up there? Like, who was your best teammate up there and why?
In the Knights?
Yeah.
Definitely Jasmin Strange.
Isn't she a beauty?
She's unreal. She's just the player that you want to play alongside. She does get raps, but I don't think she gets enough raps for what she does, especially having her on our edge, her inside push in defence, her talk, getting there, even at training. Oh my God, she's got so much energy, it's not even funny. And she's just a good person off the field as well. Like, I definitely struggle with my mental health a lot. So like during season, I probably cry like once a week after training, or I don't even know, just about the randomest stuff. But she's always there for everyone, because obviously like girls, there's a lot of emotions in a team anyway, but she's always there for everyone, and it just makes everyone happy.
Yeah, she's a beauty.
Yeah.
She played so good over in England in that World Cup as well.
She's just unreal. And she's so dynamic as well, because I know she's a back row, but she's obviously not like a bigger body, but she's just so tough and strong. Like it feels like you're hitting a brick wall. Even at training, there's not one tackle she's not going 100% at you. So yeah, it's good.
Hey, you just mentioned something that you seem pretty open about, the mental health space.
Yeah.
Do you want to go there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... And you just said there's a lot of different emotions going on. So, I mean, there's a lot of coaches also listening that may coach women.
Yeah.
And I've asked Ronald this. We had Ronald on the show, what's the difference between coaching men and women? And you just said something there that you're getting emotional over stuff once a week.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with what...
I think it's I think that both men and women, like I don't think the problem of being emotional or things like mental health is exclusive just to the girls. I just think that the girls are more open with it. Like, do you know what I mean? I think boys just get more frustrated and that like goes out that way, whereas girls, like, I think just being like really stressed a lot and frustrated, like I can get quite, I don't know if you watch Grand Final, but I can get quite frustrated when things aren't the way that they should be. So I think
I noticed a bit of push and shove
so
going on.
I can get quite frustrated quite easily, but if I can't get that frustration out, I get really upset and just overwhelmed. And I've always struggled with that since I was little, just getting overwhelmed and things like that. And like I think moving away from home, even though I've lived out of home before, it was on the Central Coast near my parents. But like moving away from home, I was really lucky. Like my housemate moved from the Central Coast with me, who wasn't a footy girl, so it was good to be able to like go to training and then come home and not be around footy. So I think that helped. But like even with like eating, like I just wasn't looking after myself properly during the season. I lost 6 kilos of muscle because I was still like quite I had dangerously low body fat for like the half of the season, just from not like looking after myself with food and things like that, because like I would just be so busy and like stressed that I just wouldn't go to the shops and like do my meal prep properly or just things like that. So I think like, and I know myself, food has a big impact on my mental health. So when I'm not eating properly and looking after myself, like it can struggle, as well as being around, my social battery is not the best.
Right.
So like being around girls, even though like they're the best group of girls I've ever been around,
Yeah.
like for that many hours of a day in a stressful environment where my body's hurting, I'm tired, everything's just happening, like team selections, things like that, like having a lot on my mind. It was just, a very stressful year, but it was a good year.
I appreciate you saying all this, because there'll be thousands of people who listen to this that are going through this, you know, and young girls in the same situation, same environments, there's a lot of pressure. And I've never heard anyone say social battery.
Yeah, my social battery is honestly shocking. I'll be on a night out with the girls and I'm dipped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's, even though like they're the least draining group of girls ever, like they're all humble and relaxed and like all just cool girls, but like it's just me personally, like being around people like for so long.
And you're there so long, and like you say, there's a lot of pressure going on. You mentioned then you obviously acknowledged it and worked out, I need to look after myself. Food-wise. Did people help you through this, or you just worked it out?
Yeah, well, we like obviously get looked after with food after training and things like that, but just not eating enough. I get quite bad anxiety as well sometimes, so that like really is like a struggle. Like sometimes I'd be sitting in my car before training just like freaking out, and then I walk in, I'm obviously fine, but just like random things like that, and then that would kind of like decrease my appetite, and like there's all these random little niche things that are just not helping me out. But the wellness and welfare team at the Knights, Holly and Ron as well, like they honestly are just so amazing. Like it's the best welfare like I've had, honestly, because they just care, they go above and beyond, they care so much genuinely.
It's a big part of why you won.
It's a big part of why everyone's really connected and stuff.
It's a space for me where people say the word performance, but to perform well, you need all these things in place.
And I think that it was really
Ronald
good
and the team there have done really well.
They'd identified that obviously people are going to have these things, so they were really proactive in their approaches towards these wellness things. Like we did so much team bonding and things like that, which I think was really, really important. And I think like that's something that all teams should be doing, not just waiting until girls are like crying in the car park or something. Not that that happens, but like not just waiting until people come.
Well, you were saying you pull up in the car park and have anxiety.
Really, but I'm excited for like to go back to the Roosters as well, because obviously my dad knows me very, very well, and he's really, really good with that stuff as well. Like he's just knows if I'm like upset, I don't need to talk, I just need like a muesli bar or something. He and I think that's why my dad's like a really, really good coach as well, because he knows all of the girls really, really well and what they need, which isn't going to be the same for this person as it is to this person. So
well, there's a lesson there for a lot of people. Do you have anything else in a routine that's helped you get through this? Are you into journaling? Are you into meditating? Are you into the breathing side? Have you learnt other ways to
I don't know
mentally prepare, or where are you at in that space?
I think I'm still definitely learning in that space. I have really, really bad OCDs to do with like coming back from my ACL. Like I have like I think that's like a lot of my mental health, which I struggled a lot more with the year that I came back when I was at the Roosters. Like I had like a panic attack at training, because one of my things is like I can't do change of direction unless I'm warmed up, because the way that I did my knee, like I wasn't warmed up. So now in my head, if I'm warmed up, I'm completely fine, but if I'm not, I'm not. And there was one time at training where we were doing piggy in the middle, and it was so embarrassing. I just had like a meltdown. I had to like go outside into the car park because I wasn't warmed up and doing it. So just having my OCDs.
So what did you do? Go in the car park and warm up?
And Dee, God love her, from the Roosters come out, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I just need to warm up. So I think that I don't know, I'm just my own person.
Well, there you go, you've learned. You have to get to training half an hour earlier.
I'm just really aware. I think it's just becoming self-aware of what I need to do to prepare myself and making sure that those things are done, as opposed to just chilling about. Like I know myself pretty well and what I can do, and I've gotten a lot better at that. Well, it sounds like what a journey so far. I didn't know any of this. Now we've gone to another topic. ACL injuries. And talk about mental health. You go through an ACL as a pro athlete. There's some dark times during that period. Without a doubt the worst time of my life.
Was it?
Like I couldn't even. I don't think, and I say this all the time, and people that have now done their ACLs agree with me, you can't like possibly understand the mental turmoil and the physical like side of it unless you've done it. Because
Yeah, right.
like even my friend Shorten Burton now, she's
Yeah.
like did her ACL in the last season.
Yeah.
And I remember we like, this is a random side story, but we went to Shoal Bay and I was like with my group of friends, they've got like a little group, and they all went on the aqua splash and
Yeah.
I was out with my ACL, so I obviously couldn't go, and I was like, no girls, like go, it's fine, like I don't care, like,
Yeah.
and I just waited for them to be done. And then we actually went back to Shoal Bay a couple months ago, and she obviously couldn't go on aqua splash because of
Because
like
she's
hers,
now
and she was
done
like,
hers.
I can't believe we went on it without you, like we're such like,
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
things like even simple things like that you like can't do.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest part of it was I'd come off like a really strong, like I'd played Tasha Gale, I'd played country champs for
Yeah.
Central Coast Roosters, done really well. I'd played Harvey Norman my first proper season, and I was top try scorer of the whole competition.
Yeah, I heard that.
And then I
Yeah.
really wanted to obviously sign my first NRLW contract that year, even development or in the squad, like whatever. And then I went and played social touch on a Monday night and did the most lateral show-off step of my entire life. I'm not even steppy. I don't know if you've seen me play. I'm not going to say that I'm...
Yes. And you did this
got
in
a step,
social touch.
yeah, social touch, and it was like the week before like all that conversation started with contracts and that, and I was just heartbroken. And then I just went so downhill. I lost, I think, 12 kilos because I just couldn't get out of bed. I was so upset, like genuinely the darkest place. I was probably drinking every second night, like just not doing constructive things at all because I was pretty much hopeless. I was like, wow, I got to here and now I'm just going to be like nothing. And then I think the thing that definitely saved me, and I've spoken about this before, is that like Dad obviously noticed how I was. And he pretended, like he'd asked me to go do stuff, so he pretended he was trying to lose weight because he knows I'd do anything for him as well to like help him. So he pretended he was trying to lose weight and asked me if I'd start coming for walks with him and like doing active things like that. So we started going for walks around Terrigal like every day, like getting me like obviously doing things. I thought I was helping him, but he obviously wasn't trying to lose weight. I don't even know why I thought that. Like he was just like helping me. So that's like what started it. And then I think like, because that was during COVID, so there wasn't even any footy. And then NRLW happened. They won the Premiership as well that year, the Roosters, when I was out. So I was like, oh my God, like I miss this so much. Like I want to be a part of this again. So like I think that was just triggered me. And then I started going back to it because a massive part of it, and obviously this is me being a little bit shallow, is that like because I was quite confident in my body, how I looked before I'd done it, being like a fit young girl, and then when I did it, my leg was smaller than my knee. I have a photo of that so I can send in a photo, my leg was literally smaller than my knee. Like I was so like skinny, I was not confident in how I looked. So I didn't want to go to the gym to do my rehab because I was embarrassed of how I looked.
How you looked.
So that was like another massive thing. So we had like a home gym set up in our shed. So I started in there because I didn't want to go to the gym in public because I didn't want people to see me. Like all of these things that just me and just silly, obviously from the outside, but it really did affect me. So I think that, and then I started, my staff was really good, Physio Connects, they looked after me. Obviously Dad made me go there like twice a week from the start, so I was always doing that stuff. But so I kind of got a bit of my hope back, and then around 6 months, like I started doing things properly and running properly and all of those things. And then Dad said to me like, look, you've come off a really good year, like you're going well, like coming back from your knee. If you play a few games, I'll see how you go and I might sign you for the NRLW squad. So I was like, oh, like, okay. But then I did some maths and I would have to come back at 11 months post-op, which for me, I hadn't been able to tense my quad for 6 weeks before surgery, after the injury, and 2 weeks after. So that's 8 weeks of not tensing your quad. You can imagine how much the muscle deteriorates. So I obviously had a lot of work to do, but I just decided and like hyper focused on it that I was going to come back and I was going to play them. And I did, and my first game back from ACL was actually against the Knights in Harvey Norman for the Central Coast Roosters. And I did my first run and I probably got twisted and turns in every single way, and I was like, oh, I'm fine. And then I was just all good. And I think my OCD things helped me with like being warmed up. Like I just made them up in my head that like, if I do this, I'm fine. If I do this, I'm fine. If I do this, I'm fine. So I just went into it with the attitude of like, whatever's going to happen. Like, I don't, like, what's the worst? Yeah, obviously what's the worst going to happen is not very good. But like I kind of just changed my mindset towards that and went in there and had a crack. And then obviously played well for the last few games of the season and then got brought into the squad for the Roosters.
Well done. Like, no one knows those type of stories. So the leg's now bigger and there's a tattoo on it.
Yeah.
Which now, I've read it,
it's for my knee.
It has a story.
Yeah, so this is my dad's dad, my granddad. He always used to say, like, when the going gets tough, the tough get tougher. Yeah. But then I told him I was like, oh, that's like a really, really good like thing. So I knew that I wanted to get a tattoo for if I came back and if I like made my debut and all of that stuff, and like to like just prove myself and just a little reminder, like if I can get through this, I can get through anything. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you've got the tattoo with a bit of meaning on the leg that was smaller than the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
well done.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah. But I've planned to get a few more tattoos for like doing things like winning the Prem and all of that stuff, but I haven't got around to that yet.
Haven't got to that.
I will. I need to decide what I want. It took me like 5 years to decide I wanted a leg tattoo. So
okay.
we're moving slowly.
And so you won that premiership with the Knights. You had to play against your dad. We've been through what? Your dad's helped you so much.
I was playing for the Roosters against the Knights.
Against the Knights. You debuted against the Knights.
Yeah.
Now you play for the Knights against your dad.
Yeah.
A little birdie tells me that your dad's birthday was the week before you played against him.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you got your dad for his birthday?
So for my dad's birthday, I got him a Knights towel so he could wipe the tears away when we won. I actually wasn't sure if we were going to win because I was like, me and Rod had some chats where like it could go like one team wins this one team's a grand final. Like we're not too stressed about winning it. Yeah. And then because we obviously thought that we would be against the Roosters in the grand final, but obviously that didn't. Something happened to them in the semis, but it's a different story. But I got him that present. It was pretty funny. It was obviously jokes.
He's a towel to cry on.
Yeah.
And then you did beat them.
And then I scored against him too.
And you scored against him.
It turned out it was so funny. It's obviously it's no bad blood. Like I love all of the Roosters girls. I love my dad. Like it's just like it's more just funny. And then I remember like I scored and everyone obviously got around me. And then Shanice Parker, she's so funny. She runs over and jumps on me. She goes, "That's for Daddy." And it was just like so funny. The whole year that was just like the biggest joke. Like after that she'd come in and done that. But yeah.
And then you went to visit Dad after that game.
Yeah.
He told me about that.
I know, I was pretty chuffed. I'm pretty bad at hiding my emotions or like, all of my emotions. So when I'm happy, you know I'm happy. When I'm cranky, you know I'm cranky. But he definitely knew I was pretty happy. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about your dad as a major influence. Is there any other influences on you? Because it's quite a journey. I mean, the women's sports space, but the women's rugby league space is just going
crazy. Yeah.
And you went through it. You know, it wasn't huge and now it is. Yeah. But to get there along the way, there must have been a love of the game somewhere and it's in your family. But who else has influenced you? Is there any coaches, any teachers, any like?
I would definitely
your mum's a teacher.
I would definitely say that my first Tasha Girl coach, Josh Potapchiks, I can't even say his last name. It's really hard to say. But we call him Josh Potato Chips. Yeah. Like he's very, very, very passionate about the game. But I think he was the first person to give me like a real sense of confidence. So he was my coach for the first 2 years. And before that, like I moved schools because I was like had such bad anxiety when I was like in like year 3 and that like I couldn't talk to anyone, I couldn't make friends, like anything like that. So I'd growing up until literally about like year 10, I was just so insecure and shy and like you would not even believe how like different I was. Yeah. So I think like going into that Tasha Girl squad like was the first time because I was really smart growing up. Like I got an academic scholarship to my school that I went to and things like that, but I was always athletic but not sporty, if that makes sense. Like I played sports but I was really good at athletics. Yeah. And like because I hadn't played rugby league yet obviously. Yeah. But I was just not confident in myself. So that first year of Tasha Gale like was the first time in my entire life that I genuinely felt confident in myself, and I honestly credit that to Josh and for like making me how I am today, because he just believed in me and he still believes in me and he still keeps in touch with me, and like he's so proud of how well I'm doing. But yeah, so I really, really appreciate that. Aside from the coaching and all of that, like just the confidence that he instilled in me really, really helped. And then I think also a massive part of it is the girls that came before us. So like Ruan, Sims, Kylie, Hilda, all of those girls that played and created this pathway for us, because I'm thinking like in a few years these girls are going to be full-time playing NRLW and I'll be on the sidelines going like, ooh, like so happy for them. But like these girls paid to play, paid to make a way for us. So I think that like we had some chats from them, and I think that really inspired me about not just doing it for myself, doing it for women in general, and doing it for the next generation of girls who obviously I'm working in coaching now. So like those girls coming through to create a pathway for them, that's really, really inspired me, and the determination that they have to want to play football.
That is so well said. Yeah. First of all, well done to Josh, whoever, I don't know if you met Josh, but well done, because there's coaches out there that, you know what, in the end, that's really all you're trying to do is make a difference to someone's life, and he made a difference to yours.
For sure.
In such a positive way. You talk so highly of now. But I love how you respect those past players as well. Yeah. And also I love that's where you're at now. You're now coaching, teaching, you're working in schools, you're helping the next generation, which is really cool. And that's actually like, I don't know if that's your career path you're going, but it's actually in you because your mum's a teacher, your dad's a coach.
Well, I've worked in childcare since I could get a job. So I've worked at before and after school cares and things like that, and like helping in schools. Like I remember being like 12 and I wasn't even allowed to go, like, you know what SLSOs are like in schools, like I'd go volunteer and do that at my old primary school, like as soon as like I could, just to like help the other teachers. Like I've always been in and around like helping the younger generations, and I think that like working at the sports school now and coaching, like I definitely think that I have a gift for coaching as well, the way that I can explain things to these girls, because it's how I would want it to be explained to me, and just coming at it from new perspectives and understanding it as a whole. And I think obviously having my dad in my ear all the time, like as well, like at home, just having conversations with him, like I've got a lot of knowledge. Like I know I'm an outside back, but I feel like I have a lot more knowledge than what I can actually physically display as well. So I think that probably will be my pathway, like in coaching. I thought it would be teaching, but I'm not really feeling like the whole school environments at the moment. There's a lot, any teacher will probably tell you.
Yeah, right.
But
I definitely think
definitely
in you.
Like development, more so than like coaching aside, I think development's like my passion.
Well, and the caring bit, I mean, you know, you'll make the same way Josh did with you, you're going to do that to someone else. And that's kind of in you. Like listeners can feel that right now. That's really cool. Well done on that.
Thanks.
What about, can we just name drop a few of your current Roosters teammates?
Yeah.
Give me some reasons why they are so good. So
I think Jamie Frezard is one that I did want to speak about, because even especially coming back from my ACL and before that, like I remember I was always good at footy, like rugby league from when I started, but I was so skinny. Like looking back, I don't know, I did get snapped a few times, but I don't know how I even was like strong and everything, because I was so skinny. Like I did not eat enough food, or like the right amount of food, and I thought honestly in my head I thought I was massive, and then looking back I'm just like, oh my god, Jasmin, like how did you even play like that? So she obviously identified to me that I like at training was like had potential and things like that, and this is when I was like a young, like, oh my god, I'm so happy to be around like all of these girls, like I was like starstruck. And she pulled me into the gym after Roosters training, and she like showed me how to use all the stuff in the gym, because I'd never done proper gym before. Like I'd done team training at like nights, because obviously we were younger, like you're not gonna really do that stuff back then, but I'd never properly been in the gym. So she like took her own time so many times to take me into the gym, show me around, like show me what I need to be doing, explain stuff. So that like led to me actually being able to put on weight and train properly and actually give it a crack. And I think she's like come through some adversities herself, so I think she could probably see a little bit of that in me and in my like mental health struggles and things like that. So I think she's been really, really awesome in that sense of like helping me with those things and getting me on the right track.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And she's coaching now as well. So
that's what she does now. Yeah, she gets people on the right track. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Even in her job, in like she works in schools, like doing that with like
So you play alongside her now.
Yeah.
Who else down there at the Roosters? Got some big names
Izzy
there at the
just
Roosters.
obviously leads
Isabel
by
Kelly.
example. She's
Yeah.
just unreal. She's a different breed. She's
Yeah.
and she's just a good person as well. Like she's a lot of these girls, like probably from the outside, like they might look like they're like a bit of a star and not time, but she's honestly got time for every single person. Like she's so humble and just welcoming. She welcomes everyone into the new environment. She's just a good person as well as a good player, which is awesome to have someone like that in your team.
Oh, that's so good. Your dad spoke very highly of her. I mean, they all are. No, people have some perceptions from the outside, but they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good people. But you just mentioned some key things, making everyone feel welcome.
Yeah.
Like that's a proper leader.
Yeah.
I notice she builds other people up.
Yeah, she does, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I really want to thank you for sharing. You got a bit honest there about some challenges you've had, and that's what these podcasts are about.
Yeah.
There's going to be other athletes that are going through the same, but also I think there was little nuggets of gold there that there's some coaches that are thinking, oh yeah, I might check in with that girl a bit more, or oh yeah, I did notice.
Yeah.
Like, because then they want to be that coach that's remembered like you remember that guy Josh.
Yeah.
For
sure.
So, yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that. The story about your grandmother, that was cool. Challenges working with your dad as the coach. Like, I think that's a whole episode.
Yeah.
Like, was there anything? Because you picture your dad. Let's pretend now you're your dad. The challenges in coaching your own kid also has its, because the perception is, I bet you there was times, actually I have never even asked him, but I bet you there was times where he should have given you the best and fairest award, or he should have made you the captain because you're the best captain, or he should have said you played well today, but he didn't want to praise you in front of the other kids, or the other parents think that you're favouring your kid. Like, this is a problem and there's 1,000 people out there coaching their own kids. I do it.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I am harder on my own kids than I am other kids, or I know that I don't praise them enough because I don't want to praise them in front of other kids because I feel that. So I know what your dad's felt.
I think it's more about not even the kids in those situations, like not even junior reps, just like junior and club footy.
That's what I mean.
Because obviously you've got everyone's parents as well, and everyone's parents thinks like their kid's a star, which they might be. Yeah. But everyone, like all of their parents, you don't want to like favourite your child because you're worried about like what the other parents are going to think, more so than the kids, because no one's going to go into training with a bunch of kids and go like, you're amazing, you're not, like that doesn't happen, but it's more the perception from the other parents. I think like from that perspective, I think it's interesting to look at, because I think it more comes from that side of the things, because the girls know who the good or the boys know who the good players are in the team, whereas the parents from the outside, they're just seeing like the coach's kid getting made captain, or the coach's kid doing like getting the ball more, or things like that. So I think it's more that side of things.
So did it happen to you?
Yeah.
Tell us one.
Well, I don't know which one to say.
Well, without naming any people, but like, did it ever feel awkward?
I sensed
like
Dad was
award
so
nights
awkward.
would be awkward.
Well, there was one like when I played for Kincumber Colts, and it's probably a bit conceited, but like I should have won the Player of the Year thingy for that team that I was in. And like it was quite like, because I was the only really experienced player, like they were all younger, like fresher players. And Dad goes to me like the week before the awards, he's like, oh, you don't care if I give that award to someone else, do you? And I was like, hang on, like I just tried my whole butt off this whole season. Like I played with a no AC joint, like one arm dangling, and still like carried on playing and like did all of this stuff and that. But like obviously now, awards don't matter. I don't care about that now. But in that mental frame, I was honestly heartbroken. I was like, what do you mean? Like, if I deserve it, like, I feel like I deserve it. But obviously, Dad's just like, oh, she won't care about this award. Like, it's just like, give it to someone else. Which obviously is good from Dad just thinking that. But yeah, I was upset about that. I remember in Berkeley Vale, when it was like the nines competition, that Dad obviously like didn't want to pick anyone as captain. So he just goes, like, back in the day, like it doesn't really matter who's your captain, so he'd just do random stuff. And so he goes, okay, first girl to kick a field goal can be the captain for round 1. So we went through our whole team, we all missed, we went through again, and I was the first one to kick a field goal. I can't even kick a field goal now if I tried. Like, I'm not a threat of field goal kicking for any NRLW teams watching this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what's it called? Yeah, and then I just seen Dad go,
Oh no! So
so
he was
then,
trying not to put
and then
you
he
captain.
still made someone else joint captain with me. He goes, all right, the
Yeah.
next person can be joint captain. I was like, so just things like that it's obviously like you
I
don't...
could picture him as
Yeah.
coach. Without a doubt, you would be his best captain. First of all, you were the most experienced, whatever.
Well, when I was like 16.
But also the fact he had a way to communicate
Yeah.
with his captain that then goes run the team
Yeah.
as a reflection of him without...
Yeah. And
Like-
obviously,
like you're actually
if
the
if it's
ideal-
like a club team, you're not going to
Yeah.
be calling an under 16s girl who's the captain to say,
To
this
talk
is what I
about
want
stuff.
everyone to do, this
Yeah.
is what, like, obviously it's easy as well.
Of
if
course.
he's talking to me and I'm the most experienced and
I'm
but
feeling...
like, not that I'm fussed about it at all, but it's just funny, like, thinking about how awkward, because he can get a bit awkward about stuff. So, like, it's
course.
just funny knowing him, like, his little...
I'm glad you shared the story because, I mean, we went there earlier. We've had Ivan Cleary talk about it. We've talked about, there's Brad Arthur, Jake Arthur
Yeah.
type. That was horrendous. I really feel for what Jake was copping from fans.
Yeah.
But local stuff
Yeah.
is...
Well,
Like,
you copy,
I don't
would
think...
honestly say that I'd cop more, because I remember there was one
Yeah.
game where I'd played Tasha Gale, done really well, went back to play club footy for Burkhart, and I think it was like the last play, and we were like down and had to win, and I got the ball and like tried to, and then like 6 girls tackled me out, and there's all these like grown adult men, especially men and women,
Yeah.
probably this far away from me, going, get that into you, take that, da-da-da, you're not so flash now, are you? Like at Berkeley Vale in club footy. And it was not even like a final or anything, but like people just have, I think they make little perceptions of people that probably aren't true, or like even jealousy or like
Yeah.
things like that. Like, so I think I've experienced more, like you just said there, from like club footy and things like that, than at the elite level, because if you're playing the elite level, you're obviously there for a reason, and you either play well or you don't.
Yeah.
Or like, do you know what I mean?
And
It's more clear.
If
but
fans yell stuff out, you go,
just
yeah,
funny,
that's just what it is. But
Yeah.
local stuff,
it's
we
just
should do a whole episode on how, first of all, those people should behave.
Yeah.
Like, not knowing what then that young girl goes home, locks herself in a room and starts
not knowing,
thinking.
because obviously they think that
You
because
know?
I was like getting successful at footy,
course.
I'm confident in myself, and I'm going home and like crying because some random man dad has like
That it's probably
abused me.
jealous.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
There's a whole episode that we should do a documentary.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you've got a career in media. We should do a documentary because that's horrible.
Yeah.
And even the way you just shared, because there's all these coaches out there coaching their kids that have these same issues, but I don't know if they realise what the son or daughter, when they go to their room, thinks, Dad's not going to give me that award when I deserve it.
Yeah.
Like I know what he's thinking.
Yeah, he's obviously not doing
Looking
it in a
after the other
spite
kid.
way at all,
He would, the last person on earth he wants to upset is you.
Yeah.
But he made this decision not to upset all these other people.
Well, I
But
think
if
it was
he,
just really
if
nice.
he
I think
knew,
that's a silly thing from me.
if
But
if he knew that upset you, no, Ivan mentioned this to me as well.
yeah.
He acknowledges he doesn't even praise his own son
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I've done it. My son once was like nose splattered, and any other kid you'd go over and
Well,
is everything okay? Can we get someone to check the head knock?
I've got a good
When it's your
story on
own
that.
son, you go, keep going. The team needs
Yeah,
you.
listen to this, right?
I would never
so
do
when
that
I
to
just
the other
talked
kid.
about my AC joint, when I just covered my AC
Yeah.
joint.
Mm.
So that was in a tournament. So we had like a few games that day.
Yeah.
And because Dad knows obviously my personality, I had a sleepover with my friends the night before.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you better not cry today. You better not be a sook today. Like knowing that I was a bit tired and I'd like turned up to the tournament. So I
Yeah.
think it was like the first game, and I don't even know how I was in the middle of the field. I was somewhere in the middle of the field because, I think I used to play like 5'8" fullback back then. So I was 5'8" that just ran the ball. But anyways.
Yeah.
And then, so I was in the middle of the field, tackled this massive chick, and I just felt my shoulder just pins and needles straight away.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was in pain, but because obviously you've got adrenaline. So I went out to the wing and I couldn't lift my whole shoulder and arm up at all.
Yeah.
It was just tingling. I couldn't move it. So I was just tackling with my left shoulder for the rest of the game, just directing everyone, like still like, keep going, do this, like telling everyone what to do, just on the wing with one arm.
Yeah.
And then after that game, he's like, I knew this would happen, like, because I come off and he's like, just give me like a little bit of a dirty, because he obviously just thought that I was faking it.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know why he would think that I was faking it, but maybe just because I will never lay down on a field.
Yeah.
Like I will, unless I'm literally like physically cannot get up.
Yeah.
Like I will never ever lay down on a field. Like I've got stories of that afterwards too.
Definitely.
But so he obviously just didn't think that it was that serious, because I don't really carry on with stuff. Like I'll just get on with it and just do what I can do. And then so then I played the next few games. I had an ice pack and a sling in between games on my shoulder. And I was doing warm up and he was getting angry at me because I was running with like a floppy arm. Like I couldn't do like the high knees. I was just keeping my arm still because it was hurting so bad.
Yeah.
And then after that day, like I went and got a scan, or I went and got checked, and the physio was like, yeah, she's done her AC and rotator cuff.
6 weeks.
So I was literally, I had to play the whole season of Tasha Gale, the second season, with like this pad on my shoulder.
Big guard.
Yeah, and Dad, so it's still the biggest joke to me and Dad today, like that he's just like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you.
I know. And whereas if that was any other girl, he would have said, hey, we don't want to make it any worse, just have a rest. But when it's your own child.
It's like, you're just tired. But that's like the biggest inside joke as well. But yeah, I think that's like one of the best things he's instilled in me is like toughness. Definitely, because like even in the semi-final of the first year of Tasha Gale, I ruptured 3 or 4 ligaments, like ruptured, not even torn, ligaments in my right ankle. And we were defending on the line, and if I had have gone down, like they would have just like probably scored over the top when it was like the last 3 minutes of the semi-final. So then, and it was like pretty close too. So I just literally hopped and I was crying, and I was like, I have a habit of going like this to the physios when I'm injured, but I like should be on the ground, but I don't want to go off. So you literally could probably see that in like a few games where I've been injured. I'm like, that. And then obviously like we won the semi-final, the whole teams like jumped on each other, and I'm just off in the video with the physio like crying and just hopping on my leg. But like I could honestly never, like when people lay down it kills me. But like,
geez, you've had some injuries.
And so now you do a lot of work to prevent injuries.
Yeah.
You look after yourself.
Well, that's half the reason, because I used to play like AFL league and sevens in a weekend when I was younger. Yeah. And I'd purposely get to them late so I wouldn't have to warm up, because I just hated warming up.
Really?
And then obviously now, since injuring myself, I've realised, okay, I do have to warm up. Like it is actually important. But that's the thing that coaches and stuff miss, because I started playing when I was 15. You miss like why things are important, and that's not just warming up, like that's everything in drills and explaining random things. People don't understand how many missing pieces people and girls have that start playing later, that they don't understand why things are important. So like just randomly going back to why like coaching and development and stuff like
that's
that,
a
like
good point.
There's like things like that I think makes me like really good at that, because I understand the things that people don't understand.
That's great.
Even ACL prevention, like if someone had have told me, if your body's in a line and your weight's over it and you put weight on it, that's how you do your ACL, I wouldn't have done that step, and it could have prevented it.
Yeah.
So just like random things like that, like I feel it's like my mission now to like tell everyone, like,
and tell everyone
don't
why.
do this,
Well,
and explain why behind things.
Ronald said that when I asked him about coaching women and men. He said, with the men, you get to, you know, if they're coming to you at an NRL level or a professional level, there's an assumed level of knowledge.
Yeah.
You just assume it. You probably
it.
shouldn't assume it, actually.
Yeah.
That's where we could get better with every player. But with the women, he found if you can explain to them why, that's probably that's a great tip for anyone coaching the women. But also,
side trail.
But
even like with the injuries, like just coming back from my ankle now, I actually broke it in round 7 of NRLW against the Raiders about 5 minutes into the game.
Broke your ankle.
Broke my foot. Little heel, like in the heel. And so like obviously I'm coming back from that now, but we didn't even know that it was broken until I did my exit medical to leave the Knights to go to the Roosters. So the whole season, so that's me not wanting to lay down because I hurt myself. And you can see me in the footage of the game just like hobbling like so badly and going, that's what reminded me of the whole this thing.
Wow.
Going to the physio to try and get their attention because they were like busy with someone else, and then they just thought I'd done the physio. Actually, the physio said that I had roosteritis because he thought that it was like a fake injury, kind of, that I didn't want to verse the Roosters the next week. So I'd faked an injury. And I literally started going, maybe it's not that bad, and maybe, like, I don't know, like, not that I obviously wanted to verse the Roosters. So then I was like, well, now I'm going to verse the Roosters. Like, now I'm not going to be injured because I probably shouldn't have, like I was obviously injured with my foot and it was really hurting. I had one session off doing like the fitness running and then just got straight back into it with strapping on it because they thought it was my joint capsule in my ankle that I just jammed up.
And there's a fracture.
And it was a fracture. But yeah, so he said, so I just really wanted to play that game. So I played that game. That's probably one of the best games I played all season as well with my ankle like that. But yeah, I didn't even know. But it really hurt. Like I should have known.
Do you know what? Do you know what is funny? You mentioned your grandfather and the saying.
Yeah. Oh, well,
and then what your dad's instilled, and then now, and like you're the living version of that. Tattoo actually means something.
Yeah, that's why I got it. Yeah. But I think it like just speaks to how I like want my character to be and how I want like my grit and toughness to be, because I want to be the player out there that even if I've got a broken foot, like I'm still going to show up and I'm still going to play and I'm still going to be there for everyone and do my job. Do you know what I mean? So I think that hopefully gives the people around me like some confidence in me, that they know that if I can do that, I'm going to be there for them for a tackle, or I'm going to be there for them for a push support, or like things like that. So I think that's awesome. Really good from like dad, the don't lay down on the field.
Awesome. And you know what? We'll finish because I could talk to you all day about some of this stuff, because in every little topic there is a little message. There's a little message.
Yeah.
But I think where you're going, even with your career, about being there for other people is the same as you are on field. You want to be there for them, you want to be reliable, you want to push support for them, you're supporting people.
Yeah.
That's all, that's actually come out in this chat, that you love supporting people.
Yeah.
And that, it seems like it's in you and it's going to continue.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that was influenced from your mum and your dad. Your mum's a teacher.
Well, my mum's hard as nails. I remember like going to the athletics track with her when I was 12, and this is when I was like actually peak athletics, like New South Wales, CIS, everything. Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm gonna flog y'all, and I'm like, hey, and she raced me and she actually beat me. So she's like, literally, I've gotten my athleticism for her. I don't know what I've got from dad, but
you got some good things from dad.
Yeah, I've gotten my athleticism, like my physical side of it, from my mum for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Look forward to following your career. We'll watch you at the Roosters this year and the All-Stars, the Maori Allstars, and who knows? Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Thanks heaps.
All good. Thanks for having me.
Some of the best learning you will ever do will be talking and listening over a beautiful glass of red, which brings me to thanking our sponsors at Mortimer's Wines. Mortimer's are a family-owned vineyard in the beautiful region of Orange, New South Wales, Australia. Their historic 150-year-old schoolyard building that is now the cellar door, it provides a great atmosphere to taste their fine wines. Visit mortimerswines.com.au. Some of the best learning you will ever do will be travelling. Give yourself space, time to creatively think, to learn, to meet people, or take a vacation with your family. Give yourself that time, and there's no better person or people or company to help you than the people at Tripadeal. Their experienced agents will look after you from start to finish. They will plan your flights, your accommodation, your car, your excursions, whatever you need. If you want to plan a trip of a lifetime, Tripadeal is the place to go. Tripadeal.com.au.